thank God it's Friday and we are bringing you the world news here on Souqnews television, reaching you from our studios in the city of Lagos. I am Grace Komalafe. First, we bring you the headlines. Nigeria exchange records higher volume as market closes with mixed performance. National Economic Council targets economic stimulus for over 8.8 million people in Nigeria. South Africa dishes out new plans to support local industries after Trump tariff shock. President Donald Trump unveils slew of new tariffs, punishes Canadian imports. The Tigers crushed Cameroon 83-47, set up semi-final clash with Senegal. Many thanks for joining us, and now we'll bring you the news in details. The Nigerian exchange NGX ended trading on Thursday, July 31, 2025, with improved market activity as investors exchanged a total of 1,101,676,027 shares in 37,365 deals, valued at approximately 32,994,849,666 naira. Compared to the previous trading day, Thursday's session witnessed a 24% increase in traded volume, a 2% drop in turnover, and a 3% rise in the number of deals. The NGX's current market capitalization stood at 88.4 trillion naira. A total of 127 listed equities participated in the day's trading, with 28 gainers and 54 losers. UAC of Nigeria topped the gainers chart with a 10% rise, closing at 80 naira 30 kobo per share. It was followed by Wema Bank and Guinness Nigeria, which appreciated by 10% and 9.96% respectively, while Skyway Aviation Handling Company gained 9.95%. On the flip side, the Initiates PLC led the losers with a 10% drop, closing at 13 naira 50 kobo. Other notable decliners included Azar Mansard Insurance, Len Africa, and FTN Cocoa Processors, all shaded 10%. And now the federal government has fully supported Nigeria's emerging electric vehicle industry, restating its commitment to driving local manufacturing, economic expansion, and job creation. According to a statement, the Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Jumoke Oduwole, affirmed the government's support during a visit to the Slag-Lev Incorporated EV assembly plant in Lagos on Wednesday. Oduwole said the President Bola Tinubu-led administration remained focused on fostering investment and industrial growth through policies that prioritize Nigerian businesses. The trade minister described the plant as a symbol of sustainable innovation, noting that the vehicles assembled here could significantly enhance Nigeria's transportation and logistics sectors. She noted that the high-end electric vehicles use about 80% less power, which she said could move Nigeria's mobility sector to the next level. Oduwole also dismissed the notion that Nigerians do not prioritize locally made goods, stating Nigerians are extremely patriotic and embrace Nigerian products. In a major announcement, the Minister of Housing and Urban Development, Ahmed Dangiwa, has unveiled the federal government's plans for a state-by-state home ownership and housing development campaign, a collaborative initiative with state governments, private developers, and development partners aimed at bridging policy execution gaps at sub-national levels. Delivering his opening address before an audience of ministers, members of parliament, ambassadors, development partners, housing professionals, financial institutions, and private sector leaders from across Africa and beyond, Dangiwa stressed that affordability remains the biggest barrier to home ownership on the continent, despite growing housing supply efforts. He highlighted the federal government's three-tier Renewed Hope Housing Program, comprising Renewed Hope Cities, Renewed Hope Estates, and Renewed Hope Social Housing Estates as the blueprint for delivering affordable homes nationwide. According to him, to date, over 70 billion naira in private capital has been mobilized under public-private partnerships, PPPs, to drive large-scale urban housing developments. Moving ahead, the federal government yesterday unveiled plans to roll out targeted economic stimulus aimed at improving the livelihoods of more than 8.8 million Nigerians spread across the country's 8,809 electoral wards nationwide. The initiative, which seeks a deepened grassroots impact, marked one of the most ambitious attempts yet to align economic planning with Nigeria's local governance structure to ensure that no community is left behind in national development efforts. Also yesterday, President Bola Tinubu said the nation's economy was working and on the path of recovery, but said the government at the state level needed to stimulate growth in the rural areas. On the fresh entrepreneurial intervention, the National Economic Council (NEC) at its monthly meeting endorsed a new ward-based development strategy, Renewed Hope Ward Development Program. The initiative is to actualize double-digit economic growth through direct intervention in Nigeria's 8,809 administrative wards across all 36 states. Moving on, the Nigeria Immigration Service has announced that effective August 1, 2025, all applications for the Combined Expatriate Residence Permit and Islands Card, which allows foreigners to live and work in Nigeria, have now moved exclusively online, bringing an end to the use of physical forms. The announcement was conveyed via the official X account of the Nigeria Immigration Service on Thursday, July 31, 2025. As of that date, physical SEPAC forms were no longer accepted. Any application forms that remained unsubmitted or incomplete by July 31 deadline automatically become void. The agency explained that applicants who had already paid for this form but had not submitted it before the deadline lost the opportunity to have those forms recognized. And now the Enugu state government has commented its commitment to advancing women's empowerment by signing a subsidiary loan agreement for the Nigerian Women Project, implemented through the Ministry of Children, Gender Affairs and Social Development. In a statement, it was noted that in a significant stride towards fostering economic empowerment and enhancing the livelihoods of women across Enugu State, under the administration of the Executive Governor of Enugu State, Dr. Peter Mba, has formally signed the subsidiary loan agreement for the Nigeria for Women project. This pivotal signing emphasizes the state government's unwavering dedication to the successful implementation of this vital initiative. Speaking after the 2025 mission of the Nigeria for Women project, the Commissioner for Children, Gender Affairs and Social Development, Ngozi Eni, reiterated that the administration is committed to gender equality and inclusive development. At the moment, we'll be taking a short break. When we come back, we'll bring you a story from South Africa. Please stay with us.
Welcome to Femi Walsh Limited, owners of Souk TV Lagos, Al Radio Lagos, Kaswa Radio Kano, and of course Emirates TV Abuja and Dubai. Our niche market for media is business, economy, and development. At Femi Walsh, we promote your company's products and services using our world-class facilities.
From our radio to Souk TV, what you get is nothing but the best of the very best.
And if you're looking for the premium production firm for your events and corporate coverage, think no further, because we offer you the best of industry standards.
With high-definition cameras ranging from 4K to 8K multicam setups, high-directional microphones, and real-time streaming encoders, we give you a production like none other. And if you're looking to produce podcasts, adverts, and documentaries, our team of experts will ensure that you convey your message clearly and professionally. Femi Welsh, Global Vision, Local Impact. On the 19th of August 2025, Paris will come alive with the prestigious People's Choice Governors Awards taking place at the Gauche Hotel, Paris. The prestigious People's Choice Governors Awards is designed to celebrate governors who have contributed immensely to their states in different countries across the world. If you are a governor who's gone above and beyond to deliver transformative projects in your state and country, then this award is for you. To partake of the Governor's Excellence Awards this year taking place in Paris, all you have to do is send an email to souqnexus.com with the words, "I accept," and we will get right back to you. You can also send a WhatsApp message to the WhatsApp number scrolling on your screen right now. You don't want to miss Paris for anything, and we are looking forward to celebrating you and your achievements this year. So contact Souqnexus to make that happen.
Glad to know you never left, and we'll bring you more stories. South Africa faces a 30% tariff on its export to the United States starting next week, a move expected to cost tens of thousands of jobs after the country failed to secure a trade deal before a deadline set by U.S. President Donald Trump. In an executive order on Thursday, Trump slapped new tariff rates ranging from 10% to 41% on dozens of countries as he seeks to reshape global trade or more favorable terms for the U.S. The order said the higher import duty rates would take effect in 7 days. South Africa has tried for months to negotiate a deal with Washington and offered to buy U.S. liquefied natural gas and invest $3.3 billion in U.S. industries in exchange for lower tariffs. But the effort was unsuccessful even after Victoria made a last-minute attempt to improve its offer. South Africa's Trade Minister Park Staal said the higher tariff was a threat to the country's export capacity, particularly in key sectors such as automotive, agro-processing, steel, and chemicals. Still in South Africa, the country is preparing financial support for companies hit by United States tariffs after President Donald Trump imposed a 30% levy on imports from the country, the highest rate in sub-Saharan Africa. The move is part of Trump's revised global trade strategy, prompting concern in Pretoria as negotiations continue over a new trade agreement with Washington. President Cyril Ramaphosa said the government noted the development with concern and was engaging U.S. officials to mitigate its economic impact. The tariffs are expected to strain South Africa's exporters, particularly in manufacturing and automotive sectors. In response, Ramaphosa's administration is assembling a relief package to protect jobs and maintain global competitiveness. Officials say the support measures aim to preserve trade volumes and sustain investor confidence, even as companies brace for higher operating costs and potential loss of U.S. market share. Lesotho received a modified tariff rate of 15% Thursday from U.S. President Donald Trump as the nation continued to reel from high tariffs the administration had threatened to implement earlier this year. In an executive order, Trump modified reciprocal tariff rates for dozens of countries, including Lesotho, which had been under threat of a 50% rate since April, the highest of any U.S. trading partner. The Trump administration defended its tariff rate on the Mountain Kingdom in Southern Africa in reciprocal, stating that Lesotho charged 99% tariffs on U.S. goods. Lesotho officials have said they do not know how the White House arrived at that figure. After announcing the barrage of reciprocal tariffs in April, the administration paused implementation to give countries time to negotiate. Under the tariff threat and uncertainty, many U.S. importers cancelled orders of Lesotho products, textiles, leading to mass layoff. Away from that, Pakistan's inflation accelerated in July following a sharp increase in domestic fuel prices, supporting the central bank's surprise decision earlier this week to leave interest rates unchanged. The consumer price index rose by 4.1% year-on-year, according to the Pakistan Bureau of Statistics. This marks a rebound from the 3.2% rate recorded in June, exceeds the median forecast of 3.3% in the Bloomberg survey. The rise reflects growing cost pressures in the economy after recent energy adjustment. Policymakers have signaled caution as inflation risks surface, despite earlier signs of easing. The central bank's decision to hold its key rate appears aimed at managing inflation expectations without derailing recovery momentum. Market analysts now expect tighter vigilance on future price shifts, especially if fuel and utility costs remain elevated. We'll be bringing you more stories after this break. Stay with us and we'll be right back.
On the 19th of August 2025, Paris will come alive with the prestigious People's Choice Governors Awards taking place at the Gauche Hotel, Paris. The prestigious People's Choice Governors Awards is designed to celebrate governors who have contributed immensely to their states in different countries across the world. If you are a governor who's gone above and beyond to deliver transformative projects in your state and country, then this award is for you. To partake of the Governor's Excellence Awards this year taking place in Paris, all you have to do is send an email to souqnexus.com with the words, "I accept," and we will get right back to you. You can also send a WhatsApp message to the WhatsApp number scrolling on your screen right now. You don't want to miss Paris for anything, and we are looking forward to celebrating you and your achievements this year. So contact Souqnexus to make that happen.
Known as the father of African literature, Chinua Achebe was born on the 16th of November 1930 in Ogidi, now Anambra State, eastern Nigeria. He was born to Isaiah Okafor Achebe, a teacher and an evangelist, and Janet Anenichi Ilegunam, a vegetable farmer. Achebe has reshaped the global understanding of African identity through the power of storytelling. Raised during the twilight of colonial rule, Achebe's education was steeped in both Igbo tradition and the Western values of post-colonial Christianity. As a student at the University of Ibadan, he became fiercely critical of how Africa was portrayed in Western literature. Achebe believed that Western literature often painted Africa as a dark and primitive continent, but he sought to tell the African people's lens. In 1958, Achebe's groundbreaking novel Things Fall Apart shattered colonial narratives through the tragic story of Okonkwo, an Igbo warrior. Achebe illuminated the complexities of African culture and the devastating effects of European colonization. Things Fall Apart became more than just a novel. It became a symbol of African resistance against the oppressive narratives of colonialism. Achebe was not just a writer. He was a passionate advocate for African self-determination, and his political activism made him a critical voice in the post-colonial era. Even after a life marked by personal and political struggles, including a car accident that left him partially paralyzed, Achebe continued to inspire. He taught at Bard College and later Brown University, where his influence reached new generations of writers and thinkers. He was married to Christiana Chinwe Okoli and they had 4 children. Sadly, he died in March 2013 at the age of 82. Chinua Achebe's legacy endures in his novels, his essays, and in the countless voices of African writers who follow in his footsteps. He gave us a voice, a story, and a vision of Africa that is ours to share.
Glad you never left, and now we're bringing you more stories on the world news this afternoon. South Korea's proposal to raise capital gains taxes on companies and investors in order urgent review after it triggered a sharp sell-off in the stock market, one of the strongest globally this year. A public petition against the plan gathered over 50,000 signatures, surpassing the threshold to initiate a parliamentary committee review. The presidential office has acknowledged the backlash and said the causes of the market decline must be further examined. The ruling Democratic Party has signaled openness to revising the proposal, which has put pressure on President Lee Jae-yong broader's economic agenda. Market watchers said the sudden drop reflected investor fear over reduced returns and uncertain regulatory shifts. The government now faces a critical balancing act between fiscal goals and market confidence as it negotiates and navigates rising public and financial sector resistance. President Donald Trump unveiled new tariffs Thursday on nearly 70 countries, including a blistering 35% on neighbor Canada, as he seeks to reshape global trade to benefit the U.S. economy. However, in a minor reprieve that opens the door to further negotiations, the White House said the measures will take effect in a week for most countries, not Friday as previously expected. The tariffs are a demonstration of raw economic power that Trump seeks, putting U.S. exporters in a stronger position while encouraging domestic manufacturing by keeping out foreign imports. But the muscular approach has raised fears of inflation and other economic fallout in the world's biggest economy. Trump raised duties on nearly 70 economies from a current 10% levy imposed in April when he unleashed reprisal tariffs, citing unfair trade practices. African champions Nigeria, the Tigress, have advanced into the semi-finals of the 2025 FIBA Women's AfroBasket with a crushing 83-47 victory over Cameroon on Thursday night in Abidjan. The 6-time and offending champions will now meet Senegal in the next stage of the competition. In the quarterfinals game, Cameroon had a bright start, opening the game on a 4-0 run, but Nigeria responded instantly, going up 7-4. The depth of the coach Rena Wakama's side quickly overwhelmed a Cameroonian team, clearly fatigued after a demanding late-night qualification clash against Angola. And now Kenya, Tanzania, and Uganda are set to make history on Saturday when the Confederation of African Football African Nations Championship, or CHAN, kicks off in Dar es Salaam. The 19-team competition is the first to be jointly hosted by 3 countries. Group A features 2-time champions Morocco, as well as Kenya, Angola, Zambia, and the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Co-hosted Uganda will face Algeria, Guinea, Niger, and South Africa in Group C. Uganda has competed in 6 of the previous 7 CHAN tournaments without ever qualifying for the knockout phase, an unlucky streak they are hoping to break this time around. Defending champion Senegal open against Nigeria in Zanzibar on August 5. And still in sport news, Kenya, Tanzania, and Uganda are set to make history on Saturday, as read before, and I'll be bringing you some of the headlines as we've read earlier before. We call it a day on the world news this afternoon. Nigeria exchange records high volume as market closes with mixed performance. National Economic Council targets economic stimulus for over 8.8 million people in Nigeria. South Africa dishes out new plans to support local industries after Trump tariff shock. And President Donald Trump unveils slew of new tariffs, punishes Canadian imports. The Tigers crushed Cameroon 83-47, set up semi-final clash with Senegal. And that's the news this afternoon. We say many thanks for watching. Do not forget to follow us on all our social media platforms at Souqnews TV. My name is Grace Komalafe, and I'm wishing you a beautiful weekend. Good afternoon.